Welcome, friends. We're reviewing today the Wuben T1, one of my most anticipated lights, and special thanks to Wuben as we begin for being so communicative. And so as far as I'm concerned, they are in the #1 spot for a foreign flashlight builder company that actually responds to emails and is able to communicate very clearly and concisely and will respond in a reasonable amount of time. Now, let me say, I don't want to sound ugly. This does not mean that if you aren't fluent in English that you're a bad person or less of a person, but it does mean that it's very nice from a consumer perspective to be able to say, hey, what if I have a problem with this and I need the warranty? What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to be able to reach out to support, and they're going to be able to reply back and communicate. And that's what's so nice. So I'm really, really excited about this opportunity to present and review the product. I liked a lot of the T1, I really do. However, I think it's a good first attempt, and it can use some improvements. And so, Wuben, having complimented you, I want you to be able to take some criticisms here, because there are some things that can be improved. This is a great first edition, and there are some things that we can get better on. So let's begin. First of all, if you want a light that is in form just like a Romulan Disruptor, then this is your light. It looks like no other light on the market as far as I'm concerned. The dynamic is really, really cool. It does make its presence known. It is pretty big for a jacket pocket size light or a tactical size light. This button, I'm going to talk more about this interface in a minute. When you get the light, you get this little thing that says check the battery, because there's a thing blocking it, which of course is this right here. When the light comes to you in shipping, they don't want it to accidentally activate, so they block it like this. So what I'm going to do is take this off, so the rest of the review we won't just be annoyingly staring at you there. Can't believe I left it on there this long. So this is what we have. We have a very nice, aggressive looking, gnarly looking light that scares your grandmother right from the grave. 3100 milliwatt amp 18650 battery. I did get the light and charge it right up for this review. I spent about a week playing with it, and due to other obligations in my corporate job, have had to try to do some other reviews that I had promised. And now we're back to this. Okay, so this is a great first offering, and I really do hope they make some improvements. The first thing is this on this tail switch here. It looks like, and of course, what it does is you can get directly into strobe that way. By pushing on the back, you activate the light. By pushing it down real fast, you'll get it to change mode groups, which I wish they hadn't done. But also, look at this switch right here. Notice how it moves and jiggles to the side. Doesn't inspire much confidence. It really doesn't. Add to that, if you look on the sides, this little thing, it's coming up higher on one end than the other. But this, beyond that, just looks like a button that you would see on a 1977 Whirlpool wall air conditioner. It doesn't look like a tactical flashlight button. An original button, you can't get something like this wrong. Just an original, tail standable design. Even if the light, it has other flaws, there's no need to do this, because if I do try to tail stand this, it kind of barely works if it's a flat enough surface. But let's try it up here. Okay, it barely works up here. But you wouldn't really use this as a reliable mechanism. Second, and we're going to come more back on that in just a minute, more is this little thing right here. It spins, the tail cap, the tail gripper, which is nice. And the response here too is nice, but it's a short stride to turn on. So that means anytime I just bump it, it's going to turn the light on, even if I don't push it all the way. And it's really easy. The most arthritic old lady in the world could very easily activate this. But it doesn't feel secure. It gives that clicky, chintzy sound. The good news is when it does activate, it stays activated and doesn't flicker, which is very good. But Wuben, I would get rid of this right here. I know it's supposed to be a tactical help, but there's a lot of other designs. You could have a side switch. You could have a 2-button a paddle and then a button. You have a whole bunch of things you can do like your competitors that would make this a better offering. Get rid of this thing that spins, and look at this. Look at this. It's I can squeeze it and just move it right around. I can pull it right off. See how it keeps activating? I just keep bumping that on the back. That's not a particularly good design. Next is the belt clip. Really nice belt clip. Looks pretty. But look at this. Now you might think, oh, well, you could just screw those screws in. But the problem is if I screw those screws in, they'll hold for a while and it'll be stable. But then I'll just be able to work it loose in less than a minute, which I did try, by the way. So I like the belt clip, but I don't like the design. You're going to have to put one here and here to stabilize this design here. That said, I would like to have seen a little bit, since the light is as long as it is, and I'll put it near another light for reference. I'll put it near the Wuben TA02. This is XML2U3, one of my old favorite lights. It's a long light. So you're taking up a lot of space here, which wouldn't be bad. But then you're running a battery that's only 3100 milliwatt amps, so you're going to want to charge it kind of often because it's going to use more power because it's an SST-40. So if I'm going to pay that size penalty, I might as well make it a few centimeters bigger and get a little bit more throw. So those are the things those are my gripes, and they're not deal breakers, but they are challenging to me. They're annoying. There's the little light port. Now notice how hard this is to get open. This is one of the hardest, most serious battery recharge blockers, which is where you charge the light, that I've ever seen. It takes a whole lot, and I've tried to work with it to make it looser, but it doesn't really come much loose. You use the charger here, the USB Type-C charger, which is good to charge the light. I have to charge this, tighten this back up here. Now the good news is that will be very waterproof, but I'm sure. I think this is a lot of effort put forth to try to tighten that, and I still don't feel like I've tightened it, despite having fairly strong hands. So that's where we're at now. As far as the tail, as far as the modes go, you do everything from the back except for you do the sides, you do the mode change. So if I click the light on and I hit the side, it's going to go to low, and then if I hit it again, it's going to go through the different modes. And if you want to know what the modes are, they are, this is in the normal mode, the everyday mode that it comes in. 2000 lumens at startup, dropping down to 700 after about 2.5 minutes, 1.5 to 2.5 minutes. It does very nicely conserve its power, and if you click it back on, one of the good things is here, it will go back to high and stay there for a while again, even as the light is hot. So Wuben has some good heat management going on. 550 lumens on medium, 130 lumens on low, 500 lumen eco, 2000 strobe, 2000 SOS. So this is a nice arrangement here. But that's how you do it. So you just tap it to the modes that you want it, and when you turn it off in a mode, it's going to stay on that mode, unless you put it in tactical mode, in which case the back switch will always start up in turbo. So now notice it's there we go, it's changing. So now what it's going to do, it's always going to start on high, and when we hit the switch, it's always going to go back to low and high. And every time we do that, we have a more tactical friendly configuration. Now, as you guys know, I don't like that. I want a different switch to be used for the modes, or I would have preferred had we just used the paddle here to activate any programming, because when you get into programming, you get into frustration. You get into the light behaving in ways that are weird. So if I want to do tactical engagement, I can sit here and do this, and see I accidentally clicked it on because it's so sensitive. Okay. Now we're back in the regular mode, and we're about to go outside and do some awesome beam shots, which is really what you're here for. When you see me point to the shutters over there, that's the way the beam looks versus this, which is obviously overexposed. All right, here we go. Turbo mode, Wuben T1. Very cool white, very good beam projection. If you're worried about this disappointing you in the throw category, you might be, but for most lights that you carry on your person and you put in a suit or jacket pocket, you probably are not going to worry much at all, because you're getting 498 meters, just say 500 meters, and very good beam formation with no ugly artifacts in the beam, no crazy discolorations, and no perturbances that interfere with practical use. Very bright torch, and it uses it, as I mentioned, uses its power very proficiently. So let's go down to the super low mode. As you go through the modes, it is going to cycle down. We're at the bushes here, and at the door, and at the wall. Now we're going to jump up to, I believe it was 130. So we're already at a respectable lumen rate. Then we're going to jump up to 550 in just a second here. Okay, we're up to 550. Now we're back. Let's see. There we go. Back to 2,000 lumens, and like I said, when you do turn it down, it does go back up, click back up if you click back up to high. So if you want to use the light and you want to push it a little harder for some reason, the way it's been designed is solid and robust enough to stay the course. So there we go. We've got good throw. I think they could have gone with just a slightly bigger head for the size, and really made us happy, made us enjoy the real launch that the SST-40 is so beautifully capable of. So here we go, back in the fence. Let's start over. There we go. SST-40 punches out there very well. Still one of my favorite emitters. As far as how my hands feel now, the light up at the front is very, very hot. This light gets hot no problem. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to let it rest just a second. Make no doubt about the output. This is a very bright torch. You're going to get your lumens worth out of it. So here we go again. It stayed. Now notice all that time it got hot, it stayed the course. It's not going to play games with you. It will finally step down, but it will, and when you go back up, you click it back on, it's ready to play again, for the most part. Let's go down to the lowest mode. There we go. Definitely got some good range. All right. Firing off again. you can start to see as we get further and further out that the beam loses that defined edge as you get in the longer distances, which even though the beam stays hot and strong and respectable, when you get past that 490, 495, 500 meters mark, you do begin to lose efficacy of the beam. And if you really look back there, you can see the fence, but it's very hard. You probably can't see it on film. There's a fence way back there. Though this is doing amazingly well for being a tactical short-range thrower. Very impressive. You go back and you try to hit those other light poles back there, it's not going to do it, but damned if it won't hit everything up front. We are at the community pool. I've never really posted anything from the community pool here, but why the hell not? Here we go again. Now to the road out there is about close to 300 meters, I think. I didn't exactly measure, but I will when I get home in the next video have a better assessment. We got tall trees here in Houston, for those of you who aren't here. There's various places in the U.S. like Georgia and Atlanta, Georgia, and others where you go through, in Alabama, and you see these giant tall trees. Now I can see more here than you can on the camera. Again, special thanks to Wuben Light and Cindy for sending this to me and for being so communicative throughout this process. The torch has cooled off now and is back inside, awaiting its next very adventurous use. Boy, this thing is a bright son of a gun and really has made a statement with me. And I have been hard on the light in this review because it's a light that has even more potential than it currently has. Now, if you want to grab a hold of this one, follow the link in the notes and you will be able to get one directly from Wuben Light at a 20% off discount. JOT120 is the code, and I'll have that in the notes. If you want to be with me in this and enjoy the communication of Wuben Light, what you can actually do is go to wubenlight.com and pledge with the Kickstarter for the newly released, or about to be released, XO Night. And it is a 1100 lumen pocket light that you can be a part of. I love it. This is This is great involvement with their fan base on the part of Wuben Light. So that's it. That's it for this review. Have a great night, and if you want to, scoop you up one of these. So long.